Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. There was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there was in Jerusalem at the sheep gate a pool called in Hebrew Bethesda, with 5 porticos. In these lay large number of ill, blind, lame, and crippled. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there, he knew that he had been ill for a long time. He said to him, "Do you want to be well?" The sick man answered, "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. While I am on my way, someone else gets down there before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your mat, and walk." Immediately the man became well, took up his mat, and walked. Now that day was a Sabbath. So the Jews said to the man who was cured, "It is the Sabbath, and it is not lawful for you to carry your mat." He answered them, "The man who made me well told me, 'Take up your mat and walk.'" They asked him, "Who is the man who told you, 'Take up your mat and walk'?" The man who was healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had slipped away, since there was a crowd there. After Jesus had found him in the temple area and said to him, "Look, you are well. Do not sin anymore, so that nothing worse may happen to you." The man went and told the Jews that Jesus was the one who had made him well. Therefore the Jews began to persecute Jesus because he did this on a Sabbath. The Gospel of the Lord. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. That specific number tells us that it wasn't an illness that took all of his life, but a part of it. But 38 years is a long time. It implies that something caused this illness, that he wasn't born with it. Hence, Jesus would say to him, "It's a sin that caused this, isn't it?" And so, like the woman at the well, sin is involved. The woman at the well is just the chapter before. There seems to be a sin involved here. And while it's pointed out, it's not as important to Jesus as the occasion of healing grace that is visiting this man. Do you want to be well? Healing is the pressing matter for Jesus, not the sin. And that's not necessarily a contradiction, because really the goal of removal of sin is for healing. And so, like the woman at the well, who never takes a drink at the well but leaves her water jar behind, this man never even touches the water. The man the man who has been ill for 38 years, that's all he's looking for, is to touch the water, but he never does. "I have no one to put me into the pool," he tells to Jesus. Human relationships or material resources are not sufficient for the cure. We think that love is the thing that cures everything, and it's true that we are right. However, it's really the love of God that cures everything. Because often because of our fallen nature, love is confused, and that in itself can be crippling. But this cripple who's waiting by a pool, and the woman who was found by Jesus at the well. It's not love that they're seeking, really. Not human love, anyways. It's the love of Christ. And it's that love that is really the healing. Christ will bring the train wreck of prior relationships and the perpetual obstacles and impediments to true love. He will bring them to a closure. That's what he wants to do in this healing. And it's the same for all of us. Toward the end of this gospel, Jesus cries out from the cross, "I thirst." Jesus is really thirsting for you. He's thirsting for the day he can say to each of us, "Take up your mat and walk." Take up your mat and walk. The water I shall give you will become in you a spring of water welling up to eternal life. So take up your mat and walk into the arms of Christ, who wants to heal you and free you from all the sinful things that are causing the train wreck of your life, so he can have you with him in heaven.
Regina Celi, letare